The AR-15 may be the most practical rifle in America. But practical does not mean unbeatable. Change the mission, and the AR can start giving up real ground. Need a rifle that folds into a much smaller package? Want a piston system that sends less fouling back into the receiver? Need a heavier cartridge? Or want a full-length barrel inside a compact bullpup design? That is where this conversation gets interesting, because the AR-15 is excellent. It is light, it is accurate, parts are everywhere, magazines are everywhere, and almost every serious rifle instructor in America knows how to teach it. But none of that makes it the best rifle for every shooter, every environment, or every job. Anybody who tells you otherwise is not giving you a serious comparison. They are repeating a slogan. In this video, we are looking at 10 rifles that can beat the AR-15 in specific roles. Not across the board. Not for every buyer, but in compactness, operating system, caliber, durability, or factory design, each one brings something the AR does not. And a few of these choices are going to make AR loyalists uncomfortable. That is fine. The goal is not to insult the AR. The goal is to figure out which rifle actually fits your use, your training, and your budget. Before we get into number 10, hit the like button if you appreciate practical rifle comparisons without the marketing hype. Subscribe for more range-tested firearms breakdowns, and leave a comment telling me which rifle you believe beats the AR-15 in one specific role. Now let's get into the list. Number 10, AK Pattern Rifle. The AK pattern rifle still earns respect when the conversation turns to ruggedness, simplicity, and a heavier intermediate cartridge. The AR-15 usually wins on refinement. It usually gives you better trigger options, better optic integration, lighter magazines, and a much larger parts ecosystem. But the AK was built around a different philosophy. It was designed to keep working through rough handling, dirt, weather, and imperfect maintenance. That is still the appeal. A traditional AK chambered in 7.62x39 launches a heavier projectile than standard 5.56 NATO. It also brings more recoil, heavier ammunition, and a more curved trajectory. Physics does not care about marketing. The heavier round does not make the AK better at everything. The AR is flatter shooting. It is easier for many shooters to run quickly, and it is usually easier to configure around modern optics and accessories. But the AK brings a durable operating system and a distinctly different shooting character. The magazines are part of that reputation. Traditional steel AK magazines are heavy, but they are also extremely tough. The curved geometry works well with the tapered cartridge. AR magazines are lighter and far more common in the American market. But a good AK magazine has that old school, take-a-beating quality that people still appreciate. The value equation has changed. Years ago, the AK was often the obvious budget choice. That is no longer guaranteed. A quality AK can cost as much as a solid AR, and sometimes more. So the AK is not automatically the cheaper rifle. It is the rugged, no-nonsense choice for the shooter who values simplicity, durability, and 7.62x39 more than lightweight or maximum modularity. Number 9. Fun SCAR 16 and SCAR 17. Now we move into premium territory. The FN SCAR 16 and SCAR 17 are not budget alternatives. They are factory-built piston rifles for shooters who are willing to pay for a more specialized system. The SCAR 16 is chambered in 5.56 NATO. It uses a short-stroke gas piston instead of the traditional direct gas system found in most AR-15 rifles. That generally keeps more combustion fouling out of the receiver area. You still have to maintain the rifle. A piston does not make cleaning disappear, but after a long-range session, the difference is real. The SCAR also gives you a folding and adjustable stock. That helps with storage, transport, and fitting the rifle to the shooter. You also get ambidextrous controls, a long top rail, and a layout designed around modern optics and support gear. Then there is the SCAR 17. That rifle steps up to 7.62 NATO. It gives you more projectile weight and more reach than a standard 5.56 carbine. It also gives you more recoil, more ammunition weight, and higher operating cost. Do not compare a 7.62 rifle directly to a soft-shooting AR-15 and pretend they are doing the same job. They are not. The SCAR platform offers premium engineering, piston operation, and a serious factory feature set. The trade-off is simple. The price is high. Accessories can be expensive. Replacement parts are not as common as AR parts. The The SCAR is not better because it is affordable. It is better for the shooter who wants a high-end piston rifle and understands what that choice costs. Number 8. SIG Bren 2. The CZ Bren 2 is a practical modern alternative for shooters who like AR-style usability but want a different operating system. It feels familiar without feeling like another AR clone. The controls are modern, the rifle is adaptable, and the platform has a strong factory-built identity. One major advantage is the ambidextrous control layout. A basic AR can be upgraded with ambidextrous parts. The Bren 2 gives you that functionality from the start. For left-handed shooters or shooters who regularly work from both shoulders, that matters. The rifle also uses an adjustable gas regulator. That gives the shooter more control over how the system runs under different conditions. It can also help when using a suppressor, where excess gas and fouling can become uncomfortable fast. Anyone who has spent time behind a suppressed semi-automatic rifle knows the problem. More gas in the face, more fouling, more cleanup. The Bren 2 gives you another layer of adjustment. That is useful. But the AR still wins on magazine support, trigger spare parts, and aftermarket depth. That comparison is not close. Where the Bren 2 wins is factory feel. It gives you a piston system, strong ergonomics, and modern controls without requiring a long list of upgrades. This is the rifle for the shooter who wants AR-like practicality with a cleaner running action and a more complete out-of-the-box package. Number 7. Ruger Mini 14. The Ruger Mini 14 is a completely different type of alternative. This is not the rifle for someone who wants rails covering every available surface. It is for the shooter who wants a simple carbine with a traditional profile. The Mini 14 uses a fixed piston gas system. It also uses a cold hammer-forged barrel designed for practical durability. But the real reason people still care about the Mini is not the gas system. It is the rifle's personality. Set a woodstock Mini beside a modern AR and they send very different signals. The AR looks like a modern modular carbine. The Mini looks like a ranch rifle. For some owners, that traditional appearance matters. It can feel more at home around a farm, on rural property, or in a field use role. It also avoids the parts project mindset that follows many AR builds. The Mini is still not automatically cheaper. That needs to be clear. It is less modular. It does not offer the same aftermarket support. And proprietary magazines can cost more than common AR magazines. But the rifle offers traditional handling, solid construction, and a lower profile visual identity. Some versions also use stainless steel components, which can make sense in wet weather, coastal environments, or hard field use. This is the practical ranch rifle pick. Not the most tactical rifle on the table. Just a clean, useful carbine with a very different attitude. Number 6. Steyr AUG 3. If you want an AR alternative that truly changes the layout, the Steyr AUG 3 is where the conversation gets interesting. The AUG uses a bullpup design. The action and magazine sit behind the trigger. That keeps the overall rifle short while preserving useful barrel length. That is the main advantage. A standard AUG with a 16-inch barrel can remain much shorter overall than a conventional 16-inch AR. You notice the difference around vehicles. You notice it in storage. And you notice it anywhere a full-length rifle starts feeling awkward. The rifle keeps the ballistic benefit of a standard barrel without requiring the length of a conventional layout. Some AUG variants also accept standard AR-15 magazines. That is a major advantage for American shooters who already own magazines and training gear built around that ecosystem. The AUG also has a quick-change barrel system. The barrel can be removed without turning the rifle into a full bench project. That gives the platform a level of flexibility that most conventional rifles do not offer. But compactness is not free. The reload is different. The balance is different. The magazine is behind your firing hand, and the trigger will not feel like a tuned AR trigger. An experienced AR shooter may feel fast with the rifle immediately. Then the first reload reminds him that the manual of arms is different. The AUG is the compact bullpup choice for the shooter who wants full barrel length in a shorter package and is willing to train around a new layout. Number 5. IWI Tavor X95. The IWI Tavor X95 takes the bullpup idea and gives it a more modern fighting rifle layout. Like the AUG, the action sits behind the trigger. That gives the rifle a very short overall length without sacrificing a practical barrel. Depending on configuration, the X95 is around 26 inches overall. That is extremely compact next to a standard AR-15. The difference matters around vehicles. It matters in storage, and it matters anywhere you want short handling without moving to a short barrel. The Tavor also gives you modern accessory support. It has mounting space for optics, lights, and other common equipment. Removable rail covers keep the front end more comfortable when every section is not being used. That sounds minor until you spend a full-range session gripping exposed rail edges. The platform has also been offered in 5.56 NATO, 300 blackout, and 9mm, depending on the specific model and current availability. That gives buyers options within the same general platform. The rifle is designed with ambidextrous use in mind, but buyers still need to understand the exact configuration. Left-hand ejection and conversion details are not something to assume from a catalog photo. The Tavor also carries its weight farther to the rear. Some shooters love that balance. Others never get comfortable with it. The reload feels different from an AR. The trigger feels different. The entire rifle moves differently. The X95 is the modern bullpup choice for someone who wants compact handling, useful barrel length, and a complete factory system. Number 4. SIG MCX. The SIG MCX is one of the strongest modern arguments against the idea that every serious rifle needs a traditional AR-15 operating layout. It keeps enough AR familiarity to feel natural, but mechanically, it goes in a different direction. The MCX uses a short-stroke gas piston that generally keeps more fouling out of the receiver than a traditional AR system. The bigger advantage is the bufferless design. A standard AR-15 needs a buffer tube behind the receiver. That limits true folding stock options. The MCX does not have that limitation. The stock can fold directly against the rifle. That makes the package shorter for storage and transport. It also gives the platform a flexibility that a traditional AR cannot match without specialty components. The MCX is also highly modular. Different barrel and caliber configurations have been offered for different roles, but buyers need to pay attention to the exact generation and model. MCX now covers multiple versions. They are not all identical. This is not a cheap platform. The base rifle is expensive. Then optics, lights, magazines, suppressor equipment, and support gear raise the total cost quickly. Cheap on the shelf can get expensive real fast. The MCX is not cheap on the shelf to begin with. Still, the feature set is real. You get folding capability, piston operation, ambidextrous controls, and strong factory ergonomics. This is the modern rifle for the shooter who wants AR-style familiarity without being locked into the AR's buffer tube. Number 3. Zastava ZPAP M90. The Zastava ZPAP M90 is for the shooter who wants AK-style construction in a more American-friendly caliber. The rifle is chambered in 5.56 by 45mm. That gives the shooter access to the same common cartridge used by the AR-15 while keeping the AK pattern operating system. The rifle uses a 3-position adjustable gas system. That gives the shooter more control over how the rifle cycles under different conditions. Durability is a major part of the Zastava appeal. The rifle uses a 1.5mm stamped receiver and a bulged trunnion. Those features give it a heavier and more substantial feel than many lighter AK pattern rifles. It also uses a chrome-lined barrel. That helps with corrosion resistance and long service life. This rifle is not trying to feel like an AR. It is trying to bring AK-style toughness into a 5.56 platform. Many versions also use an adjustable folding stock. That improves storage and transport without requiring a buffer tube. But magazine compatibility needs attention. Not every 5.56 AK uses the same magazine pattern. Do not assume a magazine fits because the cartridge name matches. That is gun buying 101. Know the exact model. Know the exact magazine. Know what replacement parts are actually available before you spend the money. The ZPAP M90 is the rugged hybrid pick. It combines AK-style construction, 5.56 practicality, adjustable gas, and folding stock convenience in one package. Number 2. Heckler & Koch SL8. The Heckler & Koch SL8 is not the obvious choice. That is exactly why it belongs in this discussion. This is not a budget rifle. It is not the easiest rifle to upgrade. And it is not trying to beat the AR-15 by copying the AR-15. The SL8 is the unusual Heckler & Koch option. It is part sporting rifle, part precision-oriented design, and part connection to the broader G36 family. The rifle uses a short-stroke gas piston that keeps more fouling away from the receiver area than a traditional direct gas system. It also uses a cold hammer-forged, chrome-lined barrel built around long service life and practical accuracy. The stock gives the shooter an adjustable cheek rest and butt plate. That matters when you are trying to build a consistent position behind an optic. A rifle that fits the shooter properly is easier to shoot consistently. The standard configuration is more limited than an AR. Magazine capacity can also be restricted depending on the specific version. For some buyers in restricted jurisdictions, that may be relevant. For everyone else, it may feel like an unnecessary limitation. The SL8 can be converted into a more tactical-looking configuration, but those projects can become expensive and complicated. This is not the maximum value choice. It is the collector-minded precision pick for someone who wants Heckler & Koch engineering and something far outside the normal AR crowd. Not practical for everybody. Very interesting for the right buyer. Number 1. IWI Galil ACE. At number 1 we have the IWI Galil ACE. This rifle makes a strong case because it blends old-school toughness with modern rifle features. It does not feel like another AR alternative built around AR expectations. It has its own identity. The Galil ACE has been offered in several chamberings, including 5.56 NATO, 7.62x39, and 7.62 NATO. That gives the buyer real choices. The 5.56 version offers lighter recoil and familiar ammunition. The 7.62x39 version gives you the classic intermediate AK cartridge. The 7.62 NATO version moves into a heavier rifle category with more ammunition weight, more recoil, and greater downrange capability. One of the most useful features is the folding and adjustable stock. That gives you easier storage and transport than a traditional AR with a fixed buffer tube. The stock also allows length of pull adjustment. That matters more than many buyers realize. A rifle that fits properly is easier to shoulder, it is easier to control, and it is easier to shoot consistently. Durability is where the Galil ACE stands apart. The milled steel receiver gives the rifle a substantial feel. You notice that the moment you pick it up, the rifle feels strong. You also carry every ounce of that strength through the entire range session. That is the trade-off. The Galil ACE is usually heavier than an AR. It is usually more expensive, and the manual of arms is different, but it gives the shooter a modern, compact, folding stock rifle built around a rugged operating system. Depending on the exact model, the 5.56 version can also use standard AR-15 magazines. That is a major advantage for American buyers who already own magazines and support gear. The Galil ACE is the serious modern alternative for the shooter who wants toughness, caliber options, folding stock convenience, and a rifle that does not feel like everything else on the rack. The AR-15 is a great rifle. It has earned its place. It is accurate. It is modular. It is easy to support. It is easy to train with. And the American market is built around it, but it is not always the best answer. Some rifles beat it in compactness. Some beat it in folding stock capability. Some offer a cleaner running piston system. Some bring heavier cartridges. And some simply give the shooter a better fit for a specific role. That is the real point. Do not buy a rifle because the internet says it is the best. Do not buy one because it looks impressive on a wall. Buy the rifle that fits your actual use, your training, your budget, your local laws, and your responsibility as a lawful gun owner. The AR-15 may still be the default, but default does not always mean best. That is it for today. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We will see you again soon with more rifle breakdowns, range talk, and practical buyer advice. Thanks for watching. Take care.